There was some massive canceled plans for Elimination Chamber, and we're going to talk about how that might impact WrestleMania. Plus, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of my thoughts on Elimination Chamber right here on the Ango Show. Yes. Appreciate you all stopping by. Don't forget, giveaway at 100,000 subscribers. Okay, Bronson Reed didn't qualify for the Elimination Chamber. A lot of people were wondering why. Why did WWE do something so foolish? Why would WWE bury Bronson Reed, especially considering that he's from Australia, especially considering that he's been booked pretty damn well since returning to the WWE? This has obviously been a conversation amongst a lot of fans on the IWC because we are currently living in the fake outrage era of pretty much everything. And then, of course, it comes out that Bronson Reed was actually pulled from Elimination Chamber, and it honestly made kind of a lot of sense. Now, the original plans for Elimination Chamber was reportedly that Big Bronson Reed was going to go up against Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, which kind of like a Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley thing, you know, when they had that match in Puerto Rico last year. Zelina Vega gets the time to go out there and shine, get the big entrance and everything. And even if you lose, you still look like a winner. It probably would have went down just like that because obviously, you know, Seth probably wasn't going to drop the belt. But then Big Bronson Reed, his wife has actually been pregnant and they had the baby early. So, yeah. He wasn't able to be at Elimination Chamber because Big Bronson Reed is now a father. So all this outrage about WWE not caring about Bronson Reed or whatever it may be, I don't know, maybe it's just the social media aspect of everything in the IWC, but essentially there you go, there you have it. That is why Big Bronson Reed was left off the card. It's unfortunate. It is truly unfortunate, especially when you consider how great the pay-per-view was, when you consider how big of a pay-per-view it was. A stadium show with over 52,000 people for Elimination Chamber. This is not a WrestleMania. This is not a SummerSlam. This is the Elimination Chamber. So obviously there is a little bit of that aspect to it, and that's why Bronson Reed wasn't there. Now I say, why does this, or how does this impact WrestleMania? Well, you have to wonder, what is Bronson Reed's plans for WrestleMania? You know, WWE is going with the smaller cards, 2 nights of WrestleMania, probably 6 matches each. Where do you put Bronson Reed on the card? And I honestly don't know if they're going to have a space for him, which I think WWE should do a battle royal in the pre-show. I think they should. I think they should do one for night 1 and one for night 2, women for one and men for the other, and get a lot of people on the show. Bronson Reed should be the winner. And when Chad Gable inevitably defeats Gunther for the IC title, maybe Bronson Reed finally gets a crack at the belt and actually wins it. That's what I would do. I don't know. But Bronson Reed might be left off of WrestleMania this year. Based on programming so far, they haven't really shown us anything. We'll see what happens. And that brings us to Elimination Chamber 2024, the review. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not go live like I expected. And that's actually the first issue that I had with Elimination Chamber. So Friday night, keep in mind Eastern time zone, Friday night, you know, you have SmackDown, it ends at 10 o'clock. By the time you go to bed, 11, 12, whatever. I tried waking up at 4 o'clock for Elimination Chamber, and I did. I woke up for Elimination Chamber at 4 o'clock. Not a problem. I stayed up watching the pay-per-view. We'll talk about my thoughts on the pay-per-view. But then the show ends, I don't know, like 8 or 8:30 or something like that. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to go live, you know? And then I realized I do not have the energy to stay up and do a live stream and kickstart my day. Now, I typically start my days at about 7 in the morning Eastern time zone. So in this particular situation, it was like just extremely tiresome doing an all-nighter from the night before. That's why I didn't go live. Okay, long story short, that's why I didn't go live. And that in itself was a problem in its own. However, that actually had nothing to do with how I felt about the pay-per-view. I see a lot of people are saying that it's predictable. Yes, that is the beauty of storytelling. Storytelling is beautiful when sometimes the best story is the one that's right in front of your eyes. And the one that is right in front of your eyes, the one that makes the most sense, right? And that is how it has been with some of these pay-per-views. Do I agree that it was predictable? Yes. Should it be predictable? Yes. This is a pay-per-view where most of the mainstream audience, most of the mainstream coverage, press, and of course, most of the people watching, you know, they're like, there's not a lot of you got to remember the time zone difference is a huge factor in it. The way it gets covered, the way it gets everything, right? I'm not the only one who didn't do a live review, right? So that in itself is probably a big reason why it didn't really matter. At the end of the day, WWE still did 52,000 ticket sales. They did a very good job of filling up the stadium. They went to Australia. They got paid a lot of money. At the end of the day, it's predictable. But you also have to factor in, this is one last stop before WrestleMania. This is supposed to carry the show forward going into WrestleMania, not necessarily starting new stories for WrestleMania, obviously with the exception of the chamber matches. So I want to talk about that. Both chamber matches I thought were incredibly well done. A lot of prop needs to go to the women of the Elimination Chamber match because they did a really good job with some great spots, making it fun. I was a little bit shocked with Naomi getting eliminated first, but also at the same time, too, I understood the assignment of the match was to make Tiffany Stratton look as good as possible without, without burying her, I guess. And congratulations to WWE because that's what they did, right? Tiffany Stratton, massive reaction from Australia. Great work there. In the men's chamber match, I was really excited about this because obviously we knew that this chamber match was going to do two things. It was going to establish a feud or a storyline for the U.S. title going into WrestleMania. And then it was going to establish some sort of story for the winner of this match to get to Seth Rollins, which obviously Drew McIntyre winning, it's the right call. There's a lot of uncertainty with his contract status. He gets the win. They're doing a really good job with how they're presenting Drew McIntyre. And I love the fact that Drew McIntyre is a hypocrite now because Drew McIntyre is getting the help. I mean, look at what happened against Cody. He had the help of the bloodline. And then on Friday, there was the DQ because everybody just kept fighting and whatever. So he got that win. And then at Elimination Chamber, Logan Paul hit Randy Orton with the brass knuckles. Loved it. Really cool how they set that up. They utilized the press conference from the day before. Really unique way of setting up that story. So I loved it. I thought it did a really good job of setting up the stories and going into WrestleMania, creating some excitement, especially with AJ Styles literally going into that match, beating the hell out of LA Knight. Again, I like logic, right? We know LA Knight's not winning the chamber. How are you going to do this logically? AJ Styles did it. Now people are also battling with the whole logic of, well, the refs held the door open for him. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to the micro details of, what. I don't think the camera showed the refs opening the door. I don't recall that aspect of it, but if they did, then silly them, right? But I thought both chamber matches were really good. And then I also want to throw in something that was really important here, which was the tag team championship match. Predictable, yes, but there were several times in this match where I felt like they were going to give us New Catch Republic as new champions. By the way, I said this in a video before. I didn't like the name. I didn't care for it. I have to change my mind on that because the branding for them is really dope. I like the way that they're being branded as a tag team. The name caught on for me. They did a really good job as a tag team having this match. The stuff with Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day has been really good. Also, another little tease that nobody's talking about is with Finn Balor and Damian Priest messing up their tag, kind of caused a little issue for them. Again, it's another seed planted in the story that continues to evolve with Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. So I like that. I like that they got a lot of time in this match. I like the fact that they all got to do some really cool stuff in this match. And at the end of the day, it's going to lead to the Judgment Day versus Awesome Truth at WrestleMania. For some people, they may not like that, but I think it's actually the right choice because we still have to split those tag titles, and that would be the appropriate way to do that. So I thought the tag team match was really good. It did a great job of elevating Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. And then also the Grayson Waller effect segment. I'm not really a big fan of segments like this on pay-per-views, but it's only a 4-match card, so it makes sense. Grayson Waller doing a shoey with Tai Tuivasa from UFC. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes dropping a promo. I mean, all that pyro. I don't know why they spent that much pyro on guys who aren't wrestling, but either way, it was really dope. But also this planted another seed, and this is not something being talked about a lot, but Grayson Waller watched Austin Theory get his ass beat and didn't save him. This is turning Austin Theory into a babyface. It's the right call. He should be a babyface. So I really enjoyed how everything went down, but then it leads us to the main event, right? Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax. It's exactly what it was supposed to be. Big shout out to them. It's not like the 10 stars type of rating, It's not like this crazy back and forth. What it is like this methodical pace to a match where Rhea Ripley is, technically speaking, Rhea Ripley is a heel, but Australia, she's a baby face and stuff like that. Nia Jax just being a really, really good heel in this particular situation. They did a really cool thing where Samoan drop onto the table. Nia Jax does an elbow drop off of it or whatever. Like, that was really dope. The match had its great moments. The crowd was obviously into it. Rhea Ripley, being able to do a lot of things in this match in a way where Nia Jax looked really good. Like Rhea Ripley struggling a little bit and then being able to hit a move. Nia Jax being able to to me, it just kind of looked like Nia Jax was actually a challenge for Rhea Ripley. And then Rhea Ripley was still able to get through the challenge, which I appreciate that, because for Rhea Ripley, she hasn't been doing too much in terms of title defenses. So, yeah, I liked Elimination Chamber, man. It was what it was supposed to be. It was an easy-to-watch pay-per-view. I like the shorter match cards. You spend more time watching entrances sometimes, which I think is a little bit disappointing. But, big feel. And just one last thing I want to say. Perth, Australia, the sundown... the views, the city in the background of the stadium, just really cool presentation. The lighting and everything just looked really dope. So I would love to see that happen again. But yeah, 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't have a problem waking up early. It's just a lot harder when you don't get sleep and then you're trying to do another. Yeah, it's just crazy. But nonetheless, I enjoyed it, man. And we're obviously on the road to WrestleMania, so it should be really cool. What did you guys think? Let me know down below.